Hello, welcome to the Adventure Corner. I'm your host, Robot Spacer. Edmundator, hello, welcome. It's good to see you. Hopefully I pronounced your username correctly. Hope you're doing well. We are going to continue some painting today. Let me go ahead and switch cameras right away here. So this is hopefully the final painting for the cover art for my game. This is a previous test painting. This is the test painting I did first, and it was also the best. Actually, that's not true. I did a tiny one first. Let's see. This was the first one. That was just to kind of do a little practice with acrylics, because I've barely done any painting with acrylics in the past. And then I think that was the second one, a little bit bigger. And then I experimented with some other ideas. I didn't really know what I wanted the sky and ground to look like, because they were just kind of flat colors in this version. So this was a super experimental version that didn't really result in anything useful, but it helped me work through some ideas, more or less. And then I did... This is the last one I did, which I really like the sky. And the ground, I wasn't quite as happy with, but it gave me an idea of what I wanted to do. I picked up this Deerfoot brush, which has this kind of flat surface, so you can kind of just dab all over the place and get like a texture that feels appropriate for what is mostly dirt. The idea is this is mostly dirt with kind of some light patchy grass in certain areas. I think I want to add more highlights to this, and then also give it a sort of overall gradient. Probably not anything so dramatic as what I did with the sky here, but similar idea. So that's pretty much what I'm going to work on today. I think we probably won't do too much more than the ground, but we'll see how it goes. Oh, one other thing I wanted to talk about is I have some mild regrets about how I prepared this board. So I did 2 of these. And you can't see super well. You can kind of tell a little bit. But like there's... I put 2 layers of gesso, which is just a white, like, kind of a primer that helps the paint stick better. Generally, a board or canvas will already have some gesso on it, but I saw a lot of recommendations to add your own on top of that because it's usually inadequate. So I put 2 layers on here, and then a layer of white mixed with a purple color just to give this background tone. And I did everything in vertical strokes, just kind of thinking that it didn't really matter. But I regret that. A lot of people talked about sanding between coats of gesso if you wanted to have like a really smooth finish. And my thought was that I wasn't concerned about that. I didn't mind a little texture. And this board started out super smooth already, so I thought it would end up being just kind of a light paint texture that wouldn't be really an issue. And I had already been dealing with, like, these are canvas over a piece of cardboard, so there's a lot of canvas texture there, like a cross hatch kind of a situation. And that wasn't too big of a deal to work with. Like you can see up here, some of the texture came through. Like if the paint is too dry, it doesn't like fill in the texture. But it didn't really bother me that much, so I thought this, vertical brush stroke texture wouldn't be a issue. But I regret that slightly. I think if I sanded between coats of gesso, it would have given me a lighter texture that would have been more what I was after. Like I got this kind of weird texture that came through in some places in the upper part of the sky, especially. Elsewhere, it's not as prominent. I don't dislike it, and I maybe even kind of like it adds a little like unintentional texture to it that is kind of interesting. But if I were starting over, I would do it differently. And if for some reason this painting doesn't come out to my satisfaction, I will probably sand that other board and do things a little differently next time. But I don't think that'll be too much of an issue with the ground because of the way I'm going to be painting it with dabbing instead of strokes. I'm mostly concerned that it could be kind of annoying when I get into doing our main character and the cat and stuff like that. We'll see. Vaguely remember this gesso tip from when I took art studio in high school. Oh, nice. I did a lot of art classes in high school, and then I went to Center for Creative Studies in Detroit in their graphic design program. I don't think I really did any painting in college. I did a lot of sketching. And then, most of what I did was more graphic design focused. So I've never done a ton of painting, and probably everything I did was in high school, which for me was a little too long ago to remember any particular tips. So this has been a learning experience, but it's been fun. Okay. Also, I keep saying that I'm going to use the Stay Wet palette I bought, but the way this has been going, I've just kind of been focusing on a single, area of the painting each stream and then kind of mostly finishing it. So I'm going to keep using this cheap little palette. I kind of regret not buying something slightly nicer than this now. But that's okay. The Stay Wet palette is just a nice flat surface, but preparing it is a little bit fussy, so I don't want to use it unless I'm actually needing to preserve the paint for multiple streams. Okay. Let's see, I'm just going to kind of prop this up back here. Y'all won't be able to see it, but I can glance at it to remind myself how I did things before. So I think I'm going to start out with, this was pretty much straight burnt sienna, and then I went over it with I think phthalo green to do the little bit of grass texture. So I think I'm gonna start with just a very light layer of burnt sienna, and then I want to get more variation in the ground. So I want to mix in a lighter color. I have some yellow oxide that might be good. I don't want anything, this yellow, but just a little touch of that with the burnt sienna might give me a lighter color that's nice. Could also do a little white, but that's probably not going to be quite what I'm after. I'll go mostly the edge here since I keep doing that everywhere else. Oh, so I finally roughly sketched in the bottom of her legs at last. Mostly, I put off doing that because I wasn't sure if this leg should be a little bit visible behind the front leg. But I looked at a reference that's a pretty similar, like, walking forward pose. In that reference, you couldn't really see her back leg. So I think this is pretty correct. In any case, it doesn't look unusual. I've got a slightly different lighting setup today. So since I'm streaming in the afternoon, there's a lot of natural light. We have this, like, I forget what this is called. It's like a fabric shade that's kind of translucent, so it lets some light through. So it's like a nice diffuse light. So I have my key light is normally pointing more down, so y'all can see what I'm doing, and I'm better lit. But I figured I'd try pointing that up today and turning it on full brightness, which is great because there's no glare on the painting at all. But it's slightly darker than I'm used to. Not really a big deal, just slightly different. I do maybe wish I got a slightly smaller Deerfoot brush just for doing edges like this. I think I can work it out in the end. Let's see if I can. Just a smaller flat brush. I got it a little too wet. Actually, maybe I can just kind of paint normally with this, and then, if necessary, kind of dab at it with the larger brush to get that texture in there. That works pretty well. Oh, I also slightly adjusted this bush here. There was like a tangent here where the right edge of the bush was like matching the line of her jacket. So I tried to overlap that a little bit to make it look a little less odd. Also, it just reminded me of a thing, like avoiding tangents is like long known like art advice. Like, it always looks a little weird if you have something like just touching perfectly. So that's art advice I've heard for a very, very long time. Recently, though, a weird kind of addition to that is AI generated images tend to create a lot of super weird tangents. So yeah, this is kind of an extra thing I think about whenever I have a weird tangent that I want to fix. Oh, that's the wrong brush. I think these bigger brushes I don't need today. Let's get those out of here. Hey, Puzzle. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Just painting some dirt today. Come on, Sama. Hello, hello. Good to see you. And a very nice emote you have there. That's from the Crimson Diamond, of course. I'm sure y'all are all familiar, but just in case anyone here that is not. A very good game that I heartily recommend. I just got a bug fix update today to fix some particularly notable issues. Okay, oh, the bottom is off camera. Sorry about that. I think that's a pretty good. Whoop. The monitor is right here, so it's kind of hard to show close up. But yeah, I think that's a decent like texture. Obviously, it's just a light layer, like I was saying, but it's a good start, I think. Let's see. I was reviewing previous streams the other day, and I was like, you know, I should maybe put my palette on the right side, but I also have like all the expensive computer equipment is over here, so I don't want to splash anything. Let's slightly rearrange. See how that goes. Hello, Julia subscriber. Yes. Ooh, Puzzle says I'm on chapter 5 of it right now and having a great time with it. Nice. Glad to hear that. Goemon-sama says, just downloaded the bug fix. I'm on my second playthrough. Really knocked it out of the park. Yes. Very cool. I've played it 7 or 8 times now, I think. And I was, you know, mostly focused on trying to find bugs. So it wasn't always... like a lot of those playthroughs were just kind of quick playthroughs to make sure there were no major issues. But there's still stuff that I've missed, which is great. Like my last playthrough, I finally accomplished a couple of things that I was trying to do. And there's still more that I want to find. And just like there's an incredible amount of dialogue in this game, from just like doing little things that are, you know, completely optional. It's great. Tiny bit of water in here. this is... I don't really want to move my jars of water over here. I think this is an okay spot. So excited to see the end score because it's something I adore in Colonel's Bequest too. I'll get Super Sleuth someday. So I'm excited to see how much loving Colonel's Bequest so much trained me for Crimson Diamond. Nice. I keep wanting to talk about things, but obviously I don't want to even talk about like game mechanics that aren't like immediately apparent. So I'm just gonna do my best to hold my thoughts until I stream it myself. Oh, I'm painting off camera again. In retrospect, as a left-handed person, perhaps I should have started on the right side. But we'll make do. Yet to finish the game. Lately, I only had time to help with Julia with engine issues. I got stuck on chapter 6, which is great and has lots of different activities to do. Yeah. I'm sure your helping out with the engine issues has been incredibly helpful. I imagine it's very nice to have someone who is knowledgeable of Adventure Game Studio to help with stuff like that. This is coming out a little bit lighter than elsewhere, so let's get a little bit more paint in there. I got, there's like a little more of an obvious line here than I intended to get, but I think it's already dry, so I'll just have to cover it up instead of fixing it now. I kind of just made it worse, but oh well. Nothing we can't solve later. feel like the thing I've had the most trouble with acrylics is finding just the right amount of water to add to the paint. Like when I started out, let's see, I think I started out using, actually I can't remember now if I started out with too much or too little water. It was maybe too little. But then I think I kind of went in the opposite direction, and now where I'm at is like I want just a tiny bit of water most of the time, and like I feel like I have to kind of dab my brush in water and then get a little paint on there and dab it on a paper towel a couple times, but not too many times. So I shouldn't worry too much about overlap here when I have such a small amount of paint on the brush. As long as I can still see my sketch lines, that's all that matters. Checking to make sure I didn't get any paint on my hand. This stuff dries pretty quickly as long as there's not too much water in it. So it's usually okay to kind of lightly rest my hand where I've been painting. I feel like the trick with these edges is to kind of, paint a nice clean line and then immediately kind of dab to feather it out. It's been working pretty well. see. I was also thinking earlier about how I want to create a manual for the game. I feel like if I'm spending this much time on the cover art, I should do the whole deal, right? So it's got to have some kind of manual. I think most computer games of this era, mid 80s, had a generally pretty plain manual, which would typically just be like, inexpensively printed black and white text on some fairly uninteresting paper most of the time. Like especially these early Mac games, which is what we're emulating here. But I feel like there's no reason I can't have a little bit more fun with it. And when I think of like old 80s game manuals, for me the thing that immediately comes to mind is NES manuals, those early Nintendo games like Metroid, Kid Icarus are a couple that come to mind in particular, that would always have these nice, I think they were generally full color printed little booklets. And they always had these really nice illustrations inside that were often like, a more like chibi, like cartoony style compared to the typical game art. I'm not sure if I'll quite go that far with it, but I want to do something a little more playful on the inside if I can figure something out that feels good. So I'm not sure if I'll do that on stream at some point or just figure it out off stream, since it's a challenge to do art in a style you're not used to. And it's even more challenging to do art like that on stream. So I might just do it off stream, but we'll see. I figure I'll probably still have a black and white manual. I don't want to go too overboard with spending time on this stuff that is not really essential. But I've written up some Little Sweetie lore. I wrote an entire backstory for the company that made this little handheld computing device that's in the game. So that's something that I'll include in the manual. I feel like we should also give some background story for our main character. And then of course we'll have instructions and stuff like that. All the boring stuff. But I'll try to make even the boring stuff a little more interesting with some fun illustrations. I feel like my goal is to kind of create a complete box and all its contents. I guess maybe that means should I have a registration card? Maybe that's going too far. It would be funny though. What happened to the music? Super Mario Brothers 3 Super Mario Brothers 3's manual was so special to me, says Puzzle. For some reason, Super Mario Brothers 3's manual is tricky to say. I never played that one. Well, I played it. I never had it. I never played it when it came out. I played Super Mario Brothers 2 so much. I love that game. But I only got a chance to play 3 more recently. Hello, Becca Bevy. Good to see you. Okay, let's see. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't... There's only 3 visible fingers on her hand here, plus the thumb, of course. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't accidentally painting over her pinky. I think it's just not visible at this angle. Super Mario Brothers 2 is very dear to my heart too. It's funny because as a kid I hated that it's all just a dream, but now I love it. Yeah. Yeah, I think like it's a fun approach in games if it's done well, because like it gives an excuse to just have fun and not try to like worry too much about having everything fit in perfectly. There was also maybe the first game I ever did something resembling a speed run of. There was a period of time where I just started replaying it, and I don't know. I would just frequently do a playthrough, and often I would just kind of take the fastest route. And like I don't think I was really that aware of speedrunning as a thing at that point. It was just kind of fun to do. I doubt I was like had a very competitive time because I was just, you know, having fun. But I got pretty good at it. Six o'clock already. Got a late start. All right, this hill in the back, like there's a very dramatic curve here, and then it just kind of goes very straight. I think I'm going to adjust that just a tiny bit. Oops. I got a little paint on the mic stand. Wipe that off real quick. This is not the first time I've gotten paint on the mic stand. Okay. Oh, right, the hill. I was like, what was I doing? So I started to sketch in a new line here, but I didn't quite like it. So I erased it. Just kind of freehand it. Yeah, that's perfect, I think. I just saw these like little dabs into the character here, and I thought maybe I smudged something, but that I actually did on purpose. It's fine. Sort of on purpose, I guess. Pretty good. If I'm looking up, I'm looking at my stream preview on the monitor here. It just gives me a little bit, straight above and slightly zoomed out view, which is a little bit easier to kind of see how things are looking overall. I'm trying to decide how to proceed here. Hello, Uli Witness. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. So I wanna add some lighter areas and also some darker areas, and I want to create more of I want like an overall gradient, and then I want certain areas should be more in shadow. So like, our main light source is from the right and above, so like there should be some shadow over here. I'm trying to figure out the overall gradient that I want to do. I want to create kind of a highlight around the bus stop. So I guess I should continue to have darker in the background here like I did in this test. I think I want to keep that. Oh. Interesting. I just noticed that here I have this hill goes up pretty high in the background, which I don't really have here. I do think we should have some amount of ground visible back here. Streams are so fun because I don't have any formal training in art things, so it's very neat to see you achieving certain looks and such. I'm glad you enjoy them. Really says, I know how to proceed. Put paint in the areas that are still white. Helping. Thank you. Perfect. I'm just kind of like, I last minute adjusted this little tiny bit of hill in the background. I'm just kind of trying to think about how this hill is actually going to go back here. Let me grab a pencil. There's the laser. Okay. Okay, so in the sketch here, I just have a very slight... I think that's more what I want to do, is just a little bit of background. Not nearly so much hill as we have here. So... here. And then I'm trying to... yeah, like here... you can see the tree is a little bit visible through this opening in the porch. But then I think this should really have a line. Like this hill back here should show through there, I think. I'm trying to remember if like there's something going on in the reference image I used that would make that not be the case. But yeah, we have this line here that is meant to be the, you know, the main part of the house showing through. So yeah, that should be hill, I think. And I'm also trying to decide if I want to adjust this little bit here at all. Like maybe it's too much of a curve and I want to have it up slightly higher on this side. Just a teeny bit. Yeah, it's subtle, but I think I prefer it. Tree trunk's going to be brown, so we can just go ahead and paint some of that right now. I just wanted to draw that line all the way through to make sure it was lining up on either side. Still not really happy with this line here. I don't know. Just I'm trying to visualize exactly what the hills are doing behind her. I was already thinking about coming back in later to kind of emphasize the horizon just a little bit by painting in some like pink just to really define that edge better. So I can clean it up at that point if I decide to. Okay. So I'm just kind of thinking about how to proceed here. Like there's a lot of patchiness in the ground, obviously, which is fine. But I want it to be more intentional patchiness. Now it looks more like painting patchiness. I want it to look like I'm painting a ground that is patchy, if that makes any sense. Just like it's not consistent in the right way. And I'm trying to decide if I should make it a little more consistent with just the flat burnt sienna, or if I should just start layering in slightly different shades and clean it up as we go. I'm also trying to decide if I should do lighter areas first or darker areas. And then the other thing that's tricky is, well, I guess, I guess if I mix some paint, I'll be able to tell if it's, I think I'll have a pretty good idea if that's the color I want before I actually put it down. So actually, I'm going to go ahead and finish a light layer on this tree here first.
Hello.
Hello, Jank Mammal. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Oh my gosh. 9 months. Jank Mammal, thank you so much for 9 months of support and also for using your Prime Gaming sub. Appreciate that very much. Thank you. Big painting. Yes, we're painting big. This is hopefully the final one. Just for reference, here's the previous size we were working at. This is just a canvas board, so it's like canvas over a piece of cardboard. The final surface is this nice, it's like a manufactured wood board just with gesso on top of it. Which I think is a pretty nice painting service. I like it. I don't really like the canvas texture. I could see if I was trying to go for like a more traditional painting look that might be nice, but it's not quite what I'm after here. All right, it's good enough for a tree, I think. All right, now back to the thing I was trying to figure out, which is what to do next. I think I want to try some lighter areas. Let's see. I think I'll do this in one of these smaller wells. So I'm going to get a bit of burnt sienna, which is what we've been using. So far it's just been that by itself. But now I'm going to add in a little yellow oxide. It's a pretty nice color. So that's a little bit lighter brown color, which I think will be nice. Okay, so now the question is, where exactly do I want to use this? So I think, like, in the game, there's a clear path leading up to the house. So I want to kind of hint at that a little bit. So I think that's an area where we should have a lighter ground color. And then around the bus stop, I want to have, like, I want it to look a little bit like there's kind of a spotlight on it almost. But, in reality, it's more just like lighter dirt around it. So I think those are the main areas, and then maybe I'll kind of feather that gradually downwards over here. I'll start with those two areas and then just kind of see how it's looking, I guess. it's a subtle difference, and like obviously the rest of it is not like finished at all, but I think it's looking pretty good. Like this is starting to look like a more natural ground color as well. Like I think the burnt sienna by itself is like a little too reddish. Oops. A bristle from the brush came loose. Don't want that in the painting. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Let's see. I'm trying to visualize like the oval of the highlight I'm trying to make here. I'm starting to wonder if I almost want to like use this color a little bit everywhere just to get more of a, dirt color overall, and then darken up certain areas. Let's see. I a little bit wish I spent more time working these questions out on a test painting, but I also just kind of wanted to get to the finished thing, and I think it'll be fine in the end. Davor, hello. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Also, congrats on your Power Jam entry. I have not checked it out yet, but I am excited to. If anyone is interested in seeing what Davor created for that, you can check it out right at that itch link there. Thank you for the follow. Oh, I missed a message. Nice slow Sunday after jamming. It's Wagyu burger cooking time. Nice. Sounds great. The follow reminded me. I've had a increase in subscribers on YouTube recently, which I guess I always want to know where people are, coming from. I kind of think it's just the YouTube algorithm is being kind to me or something. Is the best I can figure out. But I've had a lot of subscribers on YouTube, and then I've started getting a bunch of like seemingly random Twitch followers, which I think are probably coming from YouTube as well. Hopefully they're not just bots or something, but assuming you're all humans, welcome. It's wonderful to have you here. It's always hard to be 100% sure when you get, followers while you're not streaming, but I think that makes sense. I filed a while back to see some of the older VODs before I met you. Yeah. Like, I mean, that makes sense. It's just, I think because I've been, I'm used to, running my own websites for so long. And, in that scenario, you can always see where people are coming from if you have, a ton of new visitors or whatever. But, I don't have YouTube's logs, and they give me limited information to understand how people are finding my stuff. So it's hard to get used to that. I saw that a few folks came from Discord, but it was only a small number from what I could tell. So I think it's just the algorithm. Snowy P, hello. It's great to see you. And thank you so much for 7 months of support. I hope you're doing well. We're just painting some dirt today mostly, but it's coming along pretty well, I think. Most of the areas here are super unfinished, but these areas up here are starting to get a slightly more final looking. Starting to look a little more like semi-realistic dirt. I think I'm gonna keep going with this color, at least in some places, and then we'll darken things up afterward. I might have to mix more of this color. You're welcome. Yeah, that's pretty good. In some cases, I'm kind of intentionally going over my lines here, because I want to make sure that when I do the final, like, foreground element, that, you know, I can do a nice crisp line and then not have a gap where any light shows through. Like over here especially, I want to make sure we get right. You know, slightly overlapping, so I can do just a single crisp line, ideally, and then, you know, not have any of those lighter patches showing through, hopefully. Snowy says, "Oh, Robot Spacer, I also saw you in one short recent video on StairQuest. You were right at the start." Yes, I actually make several appearances in that video. Mostly brief clips. And then there's one, I think, clip of me actually talking about how this scoring system is so mean. So that was great. I was quite happy to be included in one of One Short Eye's fantastic videos. And there's a link there if you're not already following on YouTube. Lots of great, mostly speedrunning focused videos. And if you're not into speedrunning, like if you like adventure games in general, but you're not really into speedrunning, check them out anyways. They're really entertaining. And they do a great job of explaining like the speedrunning aspects in an interesting way, I think. Hello, Getsellius. Good to see you. Appreciate you not drawing a detailed crime scene with you in it that can incriminate you in a court of law. Oh, gosh. I spoke to one of the dev team of StairQuest at AdventureX, Frederick. He's great. Nice. I think I'm just going to continue kind of dabbing this paint in as long as I have this particular color. Oh, wait, I lost another bristle. I don't know if I'm just being too hard on this brush or what. That wouldn't surprise me. I don't really know if this is an intended use of this brush, but it works for me, so I'm doing it. What I was saying, I'm going to use up this paint and just kind of continue kind of filling in patchy areas here to get a more finished ground look. And then I think I'll mix up a color that is ideally a little bit darker. Like I think I might keep mixing in the yellow oxide to give that more of a dirt-like color, but then mix in probably a little Prussian blue to get it darker. I think that'll be the best to get us a slightly cooler brown. Oh, exciting. Getsellia says, also Robot Spacer, I recently spoke to a mutual friend of ours. You'll see in the video in a couple of days. Nice. Looking forward to that. I'm trying to remember. Is your YouTube username the same? No, I think it's something different, right? If you want to whisper me a link to your YouTube channel. Oh, is it the Outer Haven? I think that's right. Just so I can share that in chat. Okay, we need more paint. Actually, let me try to get a little bit more in here. There's not much left, but... too much water there. Okay. So let's see. Burnt sienna. We're going to do a little bit less yellow oxide this time because we don't want it quite as light. And then a little bit of Prussian blue. I really wish I might go back to the store and find something. I tried to get new tubes of all the paints I've been using. And the Prussian blue is the only one I didn't get a suitable replacement for. And it's just kind of, it's got a weird texture to it. It's just kind of like gummy. If you mix it up real well, it helps. But it's just harder to work with. I hit the mic stand again, but I think the brush was relatively paint-free, so... So here's the three colors I've got here. I'm going to go ahead and mix these two first, and then just bring in a little bit of the blue. It might have been too much. Like this is probably a decent color, but it's maybe too dark for what I'm trying to do right now. Oh, now it's getting even darker. I got more of it in there. Whoops. Maybe what I'll do is just leave that for now, and I'll do another well where I just mix the burnt sienna and yellow oxide. Oh, I missed a couple Snowy Pea messages here. He gave me a big hug. I was trying to encourage him to start podcasting again with Space Quest Historian. Nice. Their old Backseat Developers series was awesome. It's still on YouTube and is all about adventure games. That sounds great. So I'm going to mix up a lighter color, and then I'll just mix in this darker color. I don't think I want anything that's that dark. I don't know why. I got a little bit too much blue. It's always kind of hard to judge how much you need. It always seems to be less than I anticipate to create a different shade. Should hydrate. Everybody hydrate. It's easy to remember to hydrate when I'm talking a lot. Like if I'm having to read a bunch of game dialogue or whatever, or there's lots of chat that I'm responding to. Okay, that's a decent color. It's a little bit darker than what we've been working with, which is what we want. I'm gonna get a fresh paper towel. It's a little bit wet. It's way over there. Never understood the streamer inability to drink water when it's needed. Yeah. Like I definitely in general probably don't hydrate enough, but most of the time when I'm streaming, it is not an issue. Because, oh no, this is the other danger of putting the palette on the other side. I got paint all over my headphone cord. Let me clean that up real quick. I think I got most of it. I normally use AirPods for just like casual listening to stuff, which I think are great just because I love not dealing with wires. But when we started streaming, I was using those, and we just had some really weird cursed audio problems, and I think at least some of them were occasionally caused by like AirPods issues. And I didn't really expect, a hiccup with the AirPods to affect the stream audio, but I'm positive it did at times. So I'm strictly I will use wires whenever possible for streaming. At one point I wired our house for Ethernet, which was almost entirely to get a more reliable internet connection for streaming. It's just, Wireless is great, but it's not as predictable. And you definitely want to have everything as predictable as possible when you're streaming. Because there's already plenty of other things that can be unpredictable and go wrong in weird and unexpected ways. So the fewer variables you're working with, the better. Just trying to clean up my brush here. Okay. Oh no. Okay, that's fine. I thought I got some paint on the brush handle, but it's just, I think it's just a tiny bit of water. There's a bristle in this side of the, actually, I don't know what you call this metal part. I'm sure there's a term for it. Not sure how that ended up there. Okay. So this isn't going to be too much darker, but I think I'm gonna use this color to kind of finish up the patchier areas, and then I'll start darkening like the areas that we want to be a darker color. Ferrule, thank you. Apparently. That sounds right to me. Like that's definitely a term I've heard before. So I believe you. You know, I thought we would finish the ground today. This is... You'd think I'd learn at some point, but I am notoriously bad at underestimating how long anything will take. I thought we would finish the ground today. I was sure I would finish the ground today, and I thought there was maybe even a little bit of a chance that I could start working on, like, you know, some of the other elements, like, you know, maybe the tree or something. It's absolutely not going to happen. I don't think I'll even be done with the ground. Like, I'll have a base layer in for the ground, but I don't think we're gonna have time to, like, get to, like, putting in the patchy grass areas and stuff, probably. We'll see. When I do these Sunday streams, basically, Antigua Crush is playing Werewolf with friends. So I just kind of keep going until she's wrapping up. Davor says, "Au contraire, Robot Spacer is fantastic at underestimating things." Yeah. Yeah. My phrasing is probably not quite correct, but I'm sure you understood my meaning. see. I should clean up these lines around her legs, I think, a little bit. I'm excited to play more Deja Vu on Tuesday. Deja Vu 2, that is. I'm trying to remember what all happened there. I know we were making good progress. I think I've just had too hectic of a week, and I just completely forgot where we were at last week. I think. Let's see. I'm going to turn this a little bit because this is a little bit wet over here, and I don't want to get my hand in that. You need a good angle to paint from. I feel like it's going to be extremely satisfying to start painting the foreground elements and finally like clean up all this, kind of intentional sloppiness. I can't wait to get to that part. It'll finally start to look finished in areas. Thank you for the follow. Good to have you here. It's starting to look more even, which is great. See, I think I want to darken up here because we want some amount of shadow coming from the right and above a little bit. Also, I'm getting a bit of a... This needs to be blended better here. 6-7, hello, hello. You're doing well. Get just a tiny bit of this too dark paint. I'll put that line back in so I can see what I'm trying to do better. Excuse me. Okay. Too much paint. I think at this point I need to darken up the color here. So I'm going to start to dab just a teeny bit of this and mix it in here. It's probably too teeny of a bit. I'm just being extra cautious since we got way too dark before. God, it's coming out the same color. I just dabbed a little bit of it. It's okay, we can always fix it. dark. It's a decent color if I'm real light with it, at least. Also, we're starting to get a little bit of glare here. I think we'll just have to live with that. Trying to decide if that's too dark. I think I'll play it safe and add a bit more burnt sienna. Better. Clean out my brushes here. Daywar says, note to self, next kitchen needs a fumes hood. We have, we have a microwave above our stove. And ideally, those have a fan that vents outside. I don't know why, but the previous homeowners, there's a hole in the brick that goes outside, but for some reason they closed that off, and just set the microwave to vent, to recirculate. So it sucks up the air, it goes through a filter, but then it just blows the air out, ideally above your head and back into the kitchen. Fortunately, unlike our old microwave, the new microwave actually blows out the air above our heads, which is a nice improvement. We considered setting it up to actually vent outside, but ultimately decided we just wanted to get the thing installed and not delay the process any further. We might still do that at some point, though. Guess where ours vents? Nowhere. I'm confused. You said hi is silver. I see no messages from Silver. I'm so confused. Having a hole that leads outside means you lose insulation. Why would you have a hole like that? I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Oh, 6'7". Okay, I understand now. Misread the username. It's fine. Yeah, I really don't know what the reasoning is. Like, thinking about insulation is an interesting thought, but I really feel like it's not that big of a deal. And that proper ventilation seems like, you know, most of the time we're not cooking anything that it's super necessary. But like, for example, Unsecret Crush made steak and mashed potatoes and fried eggs last night. And we have an air purifier that's kind of on the opposite side of the house. And occasionally when she makes something like that, the air purifier like kicks into high gear and is like, oh no, the air quality is terrible. So I'm sure with something like that, you know, having a outside ventilation would be good. Heard the S noise while cooking. Got it. Cook stuff like this all the time. Yeah. We've never had the smoke alarm go off. Although we don't have one in the kitchen. When we moved in, first of all, the previous owners took all their smoke alarms, which I don't think they were supposed to do. I'm pretty sure they're not supposed to do that, but they did for some reason. And I think they were also like a little bit under smoke alarmed. So I looked up advice online, and I think they actually recommend to not have one in the kitchen. So like we have one that's in the hallway, which isn't very far from the kitchen. But I think that helps with things not going off unintentionally. But still, you know, if there was an actual fire in the kitchen, would, you know, warn us at an appropriate time. And then we also got smoke alarms in the bedrooms and one in the basement. Brush got a little messy. I think I need a new paper towel again. I'm just making a big old mess today. Elise says, here in Germany, the general attempt is to have the building close to airtight. Only places that aren't are bathrooms because the moisture has to lead out. Got it. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm trying to think. Like, bathroom obviously is ventilated. And the furnace, of course. And I feel like having proper ventilation for the stove makes some sense, but I don't know. Obviously, I'm not really an expert on this kind of stuff. Hello, Fractal Mind Mike. Oh no, it smells too delicious in here. Hope you're doing good. Fractal Mind Mike, wonderful streamer, and also does game dev over on Fractal Mind Dev. Give your game dev channel a shout out here also. Both well worth a follow. Lee says, yeah, if you want one in the kitchen, you got to get a heat alarm, which is similar but different device. Smoke alarm will trigger when cooking way too easily. Yeah. Snowy says, I think smoke alarms get more sensitive with age and you have to service or clean them or something. Mine started going off from even a tiny bit of steam from the shower. Interesting. In the US, at least, I believe the general advice is to just completely replace them. I want to say every 7 years. Lily says, advantage of near airtight building is less heat coming in during summer and less heat leaking out, cold coming in during winter. Yeah, it makes sense. You're welcome for the shout out. Okay. So we're just painting the ground here today. And I finally got a kind of a base dirt color. I still haven't really done a correct like approximation of what I want the ground to look like. Like this is kind of close in the like general shading. But I want it to look better than this. Ideally, maybe I would have done a better experimental painting of the ground, but we're just kind of working it out as we go, and I think we'll get there. So I just kind of have a base dirt tone, and then we're going to try to build up different layers of like, I want it to look like there's patchy grass coming in areas. And then obviously some areas should have some shadow, and some areas should be a little bit more highlighted. But I think already this is a much nicer like texture overall than any of my previous attempts. Thank you. Drawing, painting is hard. Yeah. I have not done a lot of painting in my life, and probably haven't done any at all in maybe 30 years. Over 20 years for sure. Like physical painting. I do plenty of like, you know, digital painting, but this is super, super different. And really, like, even digital painting, I don't do a ton. He says, I think the last real painting I did still lived at home, or maybe within the first 2 years after moving out. Unseeker Crush has some paintings, and I think they're from college. Some of them might have been from high school that are still hanging up at her parents' house. Burgers was great. Wagyu with Swiss and sweated jalapeno. I don't know what that means. And mushroom and some light ketchup and mayo. Nice. That sounds fantastic. I'm not much of a mushroom guy, but the rest of that sounds very good. Now, as I put in darker areas, I'm wondering if I should have more defined shadows anywhere. Like especially for Brisket. Brisket is the cat's name, by the way, if anyone is unfamiliar. Like I think her shadow, since our light source is up here, you would not really see. Fractal Mind Mike says, I'm pretty sure most of my physical art is gone. When I was studying, we had to make a digital portfolio in Flash, and I think I digitized a couple of pieces, but I don't even think I have backups of that. I have a box of very, very old art that my parents kept around for a long time and then eventually handed off to me when they were cleaning out the basement one time. Like that's really, really old stuff from like grade school, probably mostly. I had some high school art. Actually, no, I still have some that was stored in a better way. I had a bunch of like large high school art pieces that were just like in a like portfolio that was like sitting on the ground. And then we had a basement flood a little while back in like 2019, I think. And a bunch of stuff in our basement got ruined. Also including a lot of my old game boxes. Heartbreaking. So many old Sierra games, especially, just destroyed. And the thing that bumps me out the most is they were all Mac versions, and those are super hard to find. The only difference is, you know, the sticker and the discs that come with it, but I don't know. It's an important difference to me. But yeah, I lost a bunch of art in that as well. Nothing I really cared about that much, and I made sure to at least take decent photos of it, so I have some record of it. So that's fine. Oh well. Why did I cook burgers when it could have been brisket? Please don't cook this brisket. They would be very upset by that, I think. Okay. Now I'm... I talked at the beginning of the stream about how I have a Stay Wet palette that I haven't been using because I've just been kind of finishing up at the end of each stream and don't really need to preserve the paints I have. But of course, the stream where I said that specifically, I would maybe wish to preserve my paints. Oh well. I got another bristle coming out again. I'm not sure how much longer I go, but I think Unsecret Crush is wrapping things up, so I'll probably need to finish up soon. Smoke a brisket, not cook. Got it. Lily says a bunch of my elementary school stuff survive, but my teacher actually threw out my paintings from high school that she had graded because she forgot I would start the next term a week late and therefore had asked for an extension of the pickup deadline. I have a picture of one of them. Oh, gosh. I don't understand why your teacher would throw out your paintings. That seems so strange to me. Well, my comics still exist if the graphite hasn't rubbed off by now. Rip to art, yeah. Are you all done?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Yep. It's a lot of brown. Whole bunch of different browns. This brown got too dark. I will finish up in the next 10 minutes or something, maybe? Okay. Alright. Okay. We'll figure it out. We started walking away. Maybe we should get burgers. And we haven't eaten out recently, have we?
We got burritos on Thursday.
Oh, was that recent?
That recent, yeah.
Okay.
That was the day that was 3 days long.
Yeah, it's been a long week.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can
Well,
talk about it
I'm
when
still
we're
open to it. Yeah, but
Yeah.
we'll talk in a bit. Lily says she just had lots of students who would not come to pick up the art you did in class. Oh, okay. And she kept them to grade them at the end of the year, so she'd throw them out if people didn't come within the first week of next term. Oh, okay. Got it. Fractal Mind Mike, sorry, I have links disabled, but if you whisper me that link, then I can share it in chat. Fractal Mind Mike said, apparently I did keep a digital of an old drawing I did back then. I wish there was more control over links. Being blocked by Twitch. I don't know how I would program it if I was, but I would have something. I would have an option between allow all links and don't allow any links. Definitely.
Are VIPs allowed to post links?
Yeah, VIPs and mods can post links. I'm just kind of thinking about what else I want to try to finish up here. Maybe I want to darken around the horizon a little bit. Some bots have had good approaches, like people who have watched and chatted for X hours is often a good cutoff for permitting links. Yeah, like the thing that annoys me is like you can have a bot that deals with links, but then it's basically they get posted and then the bot will delete them. And like, I would rather just block them, and the only way to do that is the Twitch setting. I'm just fussy, I guess. Fractal Mike said I'd allow whitelisting of specific URLs if it was easy. Yeah, for sure. I would also love a setting to just let regular viewers post links. Oh, that was still wet and I put my hand in it. Why did I do that? Really hard to like not rest my hand somewhere. Unsecret Crush, hello, hello. Is this a new playlist? It is not, but it's one I use less often. This is the Chill Wave Stream Beats playlist. Sorry, Chill Step. For some reason, like, Stream Beats has been in a weird state for a little while. You can no longer access their playlists on Apple Music, which were nice, like, combinations of albums on different themes. And also their website for quite a while now has said that a new website is coming soon. I don't know what's up with any of that. So you can't actually access any of the playlists I use anymore, but the albums are still on Apple Music. They might also still be on Spotify. I don't use Spotify, so. Illy says, I wonder if World Builder used the same libraries as Appleton's other products. Apparently the Supercard editor, Super Edit, was modular, and it was also what he used later as the core of the editor for his Dream Factory software. Interesting. Did not know that. I'm not really familiar with a lot of his later stuff. I used Supercard a ton, but I'm not sure if I used anything after that. I think we'll probably just leave it at that for now. Very unfinished, but it's a good start at least. Well, I mean, you're in chat now. That's why I was saying hello. It was meant to come across jokingly. I apologize if I didn't accomplish that. Let me get things out of the way so I can show the whole thing. There we go. Starting to get a little depth in the background there. We'll do more of that next time, hopefully. So I guess my next painting stream will be continuing to paint dirt. Maybe we'll start to get to like the tree and bushes and stuff like that. We'll see. I'm not going to make any promises. Thank you. Okay, so scheduling. Let's see. There's my schedule button. There it is. My next stream will be on Tuesday. It's normal Tuesday. It's completely normal. Don't worry about it. On Tuesdays, I usually play something that's not quite normal, actually. Something a little spooky. Often a like detective mystery game. So we've been playing the Deja Vu series, and we're currently on the original Mac version of Deja Vu 2 Lost in Las Vegas. And that's been a lot of fun. We'll probably wrap that up on Tuesday, and I'm excited to see where it goes. So yeah, that's the plan, and then on Friday we'll continue painting. Can't wait to see the finished product. Looks great so far. Thank you. Since you missed the beginning of stream, let me share, just in case you haven't seen it. This is the closest I've come to the final product test painting that I'm pretty happy with. So hopefully I can get something that kind of looks like this, but just more polished and refined. And also, like this test painting, I just did flat, sloppy background colors. So hopefully the background will look much nicer. I think the sky's looking great. And the ground will certainly get there. How many tests did you do? Let's see. I got 5. No, well, this is just purple. So we won't count that. So I guess 4. This was the first, just to kind of experiment with acrylics. Actually, I wasn't sure about the colors. I had planned to do a few different small paintings like this, but I was pretty happy with the color scheme. So I just decided to stop there and continue a bit larger. Then I did this one. And I had a hard time getting like around the cat. You can see it's just the brush strokes are kind of in all different directions because it was hard to get a clean line, but also like get consistent looking brush strokes. So then I did a test painting of just the background because I had no idea what I really wanted that to look like. And this was super experimental, and I didn't really like the result, but it still helped me work through some ideas. And then the next one was I tried to do a little bit different approach here. So I painted the sky and the ground and got closer to what I wanted for both of those. But then, like, I painted all the way on top of all the foreground elements, and then I transferred my drawing of the foreground elements on top of the painting, and then tried painting over that. But as soon as I got to the main character here, I was positive I didn't really like the way that was working out. I do think it looks pretty nice for the background elements. It was a lot more work to do it this way. And I think this is the right approach. It takes a little time to get nice clean edges. But I think it's easier overall than what I was trying to do here. So yeah, those are all my tests. I considered doing a little bit more just to know exactly how I was going to do everything, but I felt I had learned enough that I could work it all out. And worst case scenario, I could do another big painting if I really screwed something up. But at this point, I'm reasonably confident we won't have to. Probably my biggest fear at this point is I accidentally get a huge swath of paint over something that's already finished or something like that. Hopefully I won't do that. Okay. Let me find someone to rate here. Uli says, remember, if it looks too clean, you might as well have done it digital, so a bit of brushstroke, scruffiness, and overlap should be there. Yeah, 100%. Like, that's absolutely why I wanted to do a physical painting. Part of it was just, I thought it would be a good excuse to try something new and stream it. And I thought that would be at least entertaining for me, and hopefully some others as well. And I think that has gone pretty well. But then also, it's nice to do things in a physical medium because of that element of unpredictability. And if you can get some subtle mistakes or just roughness that is not something you intended, that can often look great in the end. And I was talking at the beginning of stream, because of the way I did the gesso and the purple layer in the background, I ended up with these vertical brush strokes, which is not really what I intended, but I think it looks pretty good. And it gives the sky kind of a interesting look that I think will look pretty decent in the end. I'm looking at who we can raid here, and it might be a tough choice because there's lots of lovely folks streaming right now. Let's see. Tuigia's playing the Crimson Diamond, which is fantastic. I would love to raid her, but I think she's probably pretty far into the game. Although she is drawing right now. Culinary Disaster recently started Dark Cloud, which is a game I'm not too familiar with. We got Bogus Meat Factory playing Super Baseball Simulator for SNES. Nice. Dr. CDC, yes. He's playing Battletech. Interesting. I don't know if I can choose here. DC Bueller. Ooh, an Amiga game. Black Crypt. Heck. I think it's probably been the longest since we rated DC Bueller. So let's go say hello. Oh, Hinton, hello, welcome. Twitch sent me an email alert for this stream, which never happens. How did you hack the system? I don't know. I didn't mean to. I'm so sorry. Let's switch over to here briefly. Uli said, I love it. It feels almost as if I was painting myself, but without the cleanup afterwards of having space to store the result. Yeah, unfortunately, I have to go do a bunch of cleaning myself. Maybe I should stream that sometime. That would be difficult. Thank you, Goemon-sama. Thank you all for hanging out. Let me start this raid here. I appreciate you all very much. There's some raid messages if you would like to join the Robot Parade. I hope you have a good rest of your weekend, or perhaps Monday if you're in that type of time zone. We'll see you around. Take care of yourselves. Bye.